Good morning. Happy Monday. It is time for just a word from the Word. Our passage this morning comes from the book of Second Timothy, chapter 1, verse 5, and I'm reading from the King James. When I call to remembrance the unfeigned faith that is in thee, which dwelt first in thy grandmother Lois and thy mother Eunice, and I am persuaded that in thee also. As I was preparing for the lesson that I taught yesterday at church, I was just so reminded that you and I are products of those that pour into us. And I spoke of it Friday that we are blessed because of others. But just on this Monday after Mother's Day, want to take that just one little step further, that we ought to have the faith of our mothers. Um, Faith of our fathers rolls off of our tongues a little easier just because of the alliteration that both faith and father begin with the letter F. But what I have found watching people, looking at people, is that a lot of times it's the faith of the mama that affects the children so deeply and so strongly. And I'm not negating the faith of the father at all. Just focusing in on mothers because it's the day after Mother's Day, so please don't be offended. Um, but when Paul considered Timothy, Paul looked at Timothy as a son in the faith. But as Paul was considering Timothy, considering his character, considering his godliness, considering um, the man of God that Timothy was, Paul didn't just look at Timothy, he looked at his mama. He looked at Eunice and he looked at his grandmother. He looked at Lois and said, you know, Lois was a woman of faith. She passed that down to you. Eunice was a woman of faith. She passed that down to you. Um, there's nothing wrong with looking back in our lineage, whether it's men or women, combination thereof, of the people that whose faith that we've benefited from, that our faith has grown because we have the example of their faith. As I was teaching yesterday, I mentioned my great grandmother Caps. I never knew her, but Dad would often speak of her, how she would go away into the mountains 2, 3 days at a time to pray and to fast and to seek the face of God. And her mom, his mom, my Ma Ray, I knew her to be, even in her dementia, I knew her to be a woman of the word and a woman of prayer, a godly woman. I, I received faith passed down from them. I have benefited from them. Their faith has impacted me. And so this morning's just a word from the word is not inspiration, but an admonition to look and see who it is in your life that has poured into you, that has caused your faith to grow. And normally I tell you, turn your praise to the Lord, and you should thank the Lord for them. But maybe, just maybe, it would be a good idea to tell those people, thank you. It's always right. It's always true. It's always good to worship the Lord. But we need to give some positive recognition and be thankful for those that are around us. Thank God for them, yes. And tell them that you are thankful for them. And so before my voice runs out, this has been just a word from the Word. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. And Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow morning.